Good morning and welcome to BASECAMP, the best way to start your day. I'm Jack and I'm really glad that you joined us. BASECAMP is a tool that helps you develop the habit of spending daily time with God. And currently we're on a journey to help you understand and learn some of the basics of what we believe and what we do as followers of Jesus. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we looked at something quite difficult, the last things and the end times, where Jesus will return and judge people once and for all. The group of people that are united to Christ and in God's family will spend eternity with God in heaven. Great news. But those who have not trusted Jesus to be the leader and forgiver of their lives will be spending eternity in hell, separated from God. And last Tuesday, we talked about this sad reality. We talked about the reality that our friends and our family who do not know Jesus are going to be in a very terrible and very real hell. We also talked about those 3.4 billion people in the world that are not united to Christ and don't really have access to know Him. Well, they too will be separated from God for eternity. So, what are we supposed to do about it? Well, we need to go tell them, right? We need to send missionaries to these people to tell them about Jesus, and hopefully some of you watching this video will do that. But for now, what are we to do? Well, there are people around you every day that do not love Jesus and will be spending eternity apart from Him. So, what do? We need to invite them into God's family. And the best way to do this is by telling them about Jesus and what He has done for us. Here at CVC, we have a method that we call the 3 circles, and it's one of my personal favorite ways to share the gospel. Here is a short video of someone demonstrating how to effectively use the 3 circles.
If you turn on the television or look at your Facebook feed, it's very clear that we live in a broken world. There's a lot of death, a lot of disease and suffering. But we also see traces of beauty, like the beauty of a sunset or the laugh of a child. And that's because God's design was perfect when He made it. There was no death or disease or suffering. But starting with the very first people, we as humans chose to go our own way and leave God's perfect design. And that's called sin. And sin is what led to brokenness in our world and us and sinfulness. Well, we don't like to be in brokenness, this state that we're born in. So we try to get out. So for some, they try to get out on their own by climbing the ladder of success at work or school, thinking that'll get them out. Others try to get out themselves by doing good things or being religious and going to church and helping people. And while those are great things, they don't get us out of brokenness. Some try to drown out the brokenness with drugs and alcohol or attempts at suicide or maybe even relationships. And these attempts to get out of brokenness ourselves end up snapping us back in like a bungee cord. But God loved us so much, He didn't want us to stay in brokenness. So He did for us what we could not do for ourselves. He provided the only way out. And that is through His Son, Jesus. You see, Jesus came down into our world and allowed Himself to be killed on a cross, taking on our sin. And 3 days later, He rose from the dead. And He declared that if anyone would turn from their way and surrender to Him and believe that Jesus came and died on the cross and rose from the dead, would be willing to make Him their King or their Lord, that they would be forgiven and made new, and would then be able to experience God's perfect design for their life. Now I want to ask you, which of these 2 would you say you're in? Are you still in brokenness, or have you repented and believed in Jesus and are now back in His design? Okay, you're in brokenness. Well, which one of these 2 do you want to be in? Okay, great. Well, is there anything that keeps you from turning from your way and believing in the gospel of Jesus and making Him your Lord, your King? Okay, great. You know, when I chose to make this decision, I prayed a simple prayer, very similar to this picture. I just told God that I'm sorry for my sin that I left your design and for the ways that I've tried to get out of brokenness on my own. I'm ready to turn from my way and surrender to you. And I believe that this is true. And I want to make you my Lord so I can become new and experience your design for my life. Is that something you'd like to do? And then just pray with them. So this is the 3 Circles gospel presentation.
See how easy that was? It's 3 minutes, right? Just an easy way to turn an everyday conversation and turn it into an invitation for someone to join God's family. Through these 3 circles and the pictures drawn, we're able to see our broken state, God's perfect design in our journey, and how to get back to that design. There's a clear invitation to put themselves into this journey where they are in brokenness or in God's plan already. And it's a great way for them to ask them to make a decision for Christ. If you're interested in learning more about this method and want some more training resources, I would love to send them over. Just send me an email at jhopkins@cvconline.org, which is also on the screen below, and I'll send you over a series of videos and resources to help you. As Christians, we're called to reach those who don't know about Jesus. So let's be a part of reaching the whole world for Christ together. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here on Thursday for another episode of BASECAMP.